I'm Sam, and this is Amazing Travels. Hey guys, today we're exploring Munich, Germany. Bavaria's capital was founded in 1158 and is home to the OG Oktoberfest. This travel guide is perfect for the first-time traveler to Germany's southern gem. The great thing about this city is that most of its main sites are concentrated in the Altstadt or Old City, so it's really easy to get around on foot. So what are we seeing while we're here in Munich? Let's go. We're gonna start at the heart of the city, Marienplatz. For more than 450 years, the Old Town Hall and Column of St. Mary have been icons of Marienplatz. The neo-Gothic tower of the Neues Rathaus is home to Germany's largest glockenspiel. These chimes display a Bavarian Knights tournament victory from the Middle Ages. It draws millions of tourists a year. If you visit during the holidays, the Christmas market at Marienplatz is a must-see. Make sure to drink some mulled hot wine, which is called Glühwein, to warm up. You'll need it. From there, walk over to Munich's most widely visible landmark, Frauenkirche. Consecrated in 1498, this church is famous for its onion-shaped domes which tower over the city at 320 feet. The church is so massive it can hold a standing congregation of 20,000 people. For those interested, you can climb the stairs of the South Tower to get a nice view of the city. But I suggest skipping the steps at the Frauenkirche and climbing up the tower of the Alte Peter Church. This view is much more architecturally interesting with the Frauenkirche in the background. One of the coolest things about the Alte Peter is that it's the oldest recorded parish church in Munich, and it's presumed to be the originating point for the whole city. The climb to the top cannot be accessed from the interior of the church. Instead, you'll see a sign pointing you around the corner to the ticket booth. The tower is nearly 300 feet tall. Once you reach the top, the views are breathtaking, and trust me, you'll need to catch your breath after those steps. The glorious thing though is you'll see all the major sights of the old city and even views of the snow-capped Bavarian Alps in the distance. I think it's the best view in the entire city and one you really cannot skip. This is it. Next up, head to Viktualienmarkt, where vendors have sold groceries since 1807. During the day, the market stalls boast goods not only from the region, but from all over the globe. Weave in and out of the market beneath its old chestnut trees and check out its fountains and decorated blue and white maypole. Now's your chance to travel back in time and visit the 3 remaining gates of the medieval city wall. Isartor, originally constructed in 1337, is today the only medieval gate in Munich which has conserved its medium main tower. Sendlinger Tor lies at the southern end of the historic old town, and here you can still see a remnant of the old city wall. Lastly, Karlstor. It forms part of the pedestrian zone on the western side of the old city. This gate, along with surrounding Karlsplatz, has been one of Munich's busiest areas for centuries. Another famous square worth a visit is Odeonsplatz. Here you'll find a few of Munich's attractions. The Feldherrnhalle, a monument commissioned by King Ludwig I of Bavaria to honor the tradition of the Bavarian army. The Theatina Church, built between 1663 and 1690, was inspired by the architecture of a basilica in Rome. Plus, the Residenz, Germany's largest inner-city palace and former home to Bavarian kings and rulers. Make sure you walk the grounds around it. You'll be able to enjoy the Hofgarten as well as scope out other architecturally rich buildings like the State Chancellery. If you like to shop or socialize, Gärtnerplatz is for you. There's plenty to explore in this area that offers retail shops, restaurants, bars, and cafes. It feels modern with all that's in it, but still has that old city architectural charm. Delving into history a bit here, visit the Jewish Museum on St. Jakobsplatz. The Synagogue and Jewish Museum gives visitors an overview of the city's Jewish history and is right next to the Ohel Jakob, the new main synagogue for the Jewish community in Munich. That's pretty much the Altstadt in a nutshell. Now moving on to outside the old city center, and something that has to be on your list is the Englischer Garten. It stretches from the city center to the northeastern city limits. At more than 21 acres in size, it's one of the largest urban parks in the world. Stroll through more than 45 miles worth of walking paths through forests, meadows, and landscaped gardens. You'll also see structures like the Chinese pagoda and the Monopteros. The coolest place to me is the Eisbach, where surfers can surf a permanent river wave year round. There's always a crowd of onlookers and a bunch of surfers waiting to shred. If you have the time, a must-do day trip is visiting the Dachau concentration camp and memorial site. The former concentration camp was not only one of the first built by Nazi Germany, but also was the longest running camp. The history exposed here is compelling and worth the time you'll spend exploring the grounds and exhibitions. I'd set aside about 5 to 6 hours for Dachau, including travel time. There's no admission fee and you can easily reach the memorial site by train. If you love grand palaces, you'll enjoy a half-day trip to Schloss Nymphenburg. It's the former summer residence of the Wittelsbacher family. The complex is nearly 450 acres, making it one of the largest palaces in Germany. I'd allot about 4 hours time to see it, including travel time. I'm sure all of this exploring has made you hungry and thirsty. Now, no one's giving me anything to say this. These recommendations are just based off my delicious experiences. So the first place you should eat, and what many consider legendary, even though it is touristy, is going to the Hofbräuhaus. Hofbräuhaus am Platzl is in the old city center. This 3-story beer hall dates back to the 16th century. Everything except the historic beer hall, known as the Schwemme, was destroyed during World War II, which means you can have a beer today where the beer was once brewed and since 1897 has served beer to the public. For a more local vibe, I mean so local they don't even open on weekends, go to Gaststätte Alte Heide. They serve up traditional Bavarian food and it's absolutely delicious. Pair it with whatever beer they have on tap and you will have a quintessential Bavarian meal. The restaurant is located about 25 minutes by train northeast of the city center. It's worth every minute. For a similar vibe, go enjoy a meal at Goethehof Wirtshaus. This traditional pub and restaurant claims to be one of Munich's oldest, going back to the 1800s. They serve up yummy and authentic Bavarian cuisine. Of course, they have German beer too, and on Tuesdays, they pour drafts from a wooden barrel. Pour me one! That sums up everything you should definitely have on your Munich itinerary. I suggest spending at least 3 to 4 days in the city so you can really soak it all in and enjoy yourself. Of course, if you take out those half-day trips, you can probably crush everything in the Altstadt in like 2 days, but I suggest you take your time so you can enjoy a couple beers or so, or Glühwein in the winter. You know what I mean? If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to my channel for more travel guides, more tips and tricks in cities all around the globe. I loved having you here, but it's time for you to get out of here and go explore.